everybody. I'm Dan Lutz, and welcome to the Frontlines and the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. And they are selfish reasons. Well, thank you for joining me again. This is amazing how much stuff is coming out. It's really hard to keep up with all of it. We did see the presidential debate yesterday. I covered just the first few minutes where I showed that all of that I was watching from Trump's first answer about his new Supreme Court nominee was cut out. That was on Fox, the right side, video stream. Now it was on other Fox broadcasts, so maybe it was just a glitch. Very interesting, though. It just cut out that whole first 2 minutes. They were Trump started to speak, it just right there. So it did lose a big section of the audience. And about that right side, what I was watching tends to give me more of the conservative stories coming from it. Interesting. So the other side, the Fox other broadcasts, went straight through. So just interesting that they cut that out. But maybe it was just an accident. Maybe. So now I didn't cover too much of what went on in the debate yesterday, but we'll kind of go down that line and discuss some of the issues. And then we have some other stories to get into as well. Let me just cover a few other things. So on the housekeeping side of things, this program is brought to you by your donations. But for today, I'm not asking. And the reason is that I also, while I ask for donations, I also say LifeForce does have also a link down below in the description of this video. I'm asking you today to donate to them. Go to LifeForce, use that link and donate to them something, even small donations. The reason, I'm okay for a couple days. Literally, I'm okay for a couple days. My wife just went shopping. We have groceries. But Tank put out a video and requested. And so I would say this is a good time. If you want to give a donation, it would be good to give to LifeForce. Let me go ahead and bring that up as well. Hang on a second. Now they actually put out 2 new videos, and so I just want to kind of just show it to you. I'm not going to play the videos. I'm going to have you go ahead and show them. A second here. So here's a special report, this one, a 16-minute one that was just latest put out, and also the SITREP United pre-launch. So watch these 2, but this is this one, the top one. You can listen to that one. It has some interesting information in it. I highly suggest it's good for you to get into that because it talks about certain things that are happening as an update. So. And then, as I said, he does say that they're in need. They've had to deal with some hacking and other things, and delays and everything end up costing money. So let's do what we can. All right. That being said, let's carry on here. So let's first talk about the debate yesterday. I said that Biden didn't do too badly yesterday, right? He was able to make coherent sentences. There was a couple of minor gaffes and things, but if you hear the results, people were saying, it was just a bashing each other. They were talking over each other, and they say, Biden, Biden, no one won, basically, is what they're saying. Now, I happen to think that Trump won. And the reason why I think Trump won, as I kind of was talking about yesterday, was that he did get through his points about Biden losing the left. And after I listened to a bunch of other people discussing that, I think really that was the point. There is a Trump camp. They're going to vote for Trump. There is a Biden camp. And that's a coalition of different individuals. And it's very hard to keep that coalition together. The Democrats have always done that. It's been always about getting all the little groups together to kind of coalesce and to, be united under one side, and they'll protect them all, which is impossible. But I think Trump's strategy was really to do one thing, and if you listen to Trump's speeches over the last year's, over this last year, when he talked about Bernie Sanders, he always says last time they got a lot of the Bernie bros to join Trump because they all agree with Trump on the trade issue, right? The jobs were all sent abroad, and he wants to bring them back, and so he can, he basically made a pitch, in other words, over this last year, talking about them and say, listen, I'm doing the good things that, all the things that you want, I'm doing. Maybe not all the other things you don't like, but I'm doing some things you like. What he pointed out yesterday was Biden's not going to do anything they like, right? He'll talk and talk and talk to be on your side, but he's not really on your side. And that's what Trump was doing. He said, there you go, you lost the left. There you go, you lost the left. He was pointing this out, and I think that was the real strategy here, was to split the Biden support. Now, we already see that the Democrats are leaving the Democrat Party more than ever before. Hashtag walk away in big time, because that's happening. The Republican Party is increasing big time. And we also saw that one numbers from Pennsylvania, right, which is a battleground state. 91,000 people joined the Republican Party from in that state. That's huge. Those people vote. They don't change their party and then sit it out. They change their party so they can vote. Vote in multiple ways. So and then you have the independents growing. So how many of the independents are going to basically go along with Trump, and how many are going to go? I don't think it matters at this point, because the Trump support, let's say it's at 53%. And if he splits the off the Bernie bros, the hard left from Biden, right? Because they were betrayed. They were, right? And Trump points this out. If Pocahontas would have dropped out of the race a couple days later, Bernie would have had the nomination. And Bernie just sat down afterwards, supported Biden like the best loser, right? Is this what Trump likes to call Bernie? Like he just takes losing so well. So we can see that there is a plan here, and no, even if it was a rough and tumble debate, there was a reason for it, right? And number one, there was no other way for there to be a counter back and forth with Trump. They didn't allow it. Chris Wallace, always interrupted Trump. I think there was a number 70 sometimes he interrupted Trump. 15 he interrupted Biden. That's bias. He answered for Biden a few times and debated Trump. So it was stacked against Trump to actually do anything other than interrupt with these with these things. Now, I'm sure that they were hoping that this interruption would show that Trump is a bully. Great. I'm happy he's a bully. He's bullying all of the other countries into basically getting rid of the invisible enemy. So this is fine. All right. So what else was going on in the debate everyone's talking about? Evidence that there was other help given to Biden. Electronic help. There was electronic help given to Hillary in the debates that I was not really that aware of at the time, but she was also wired and mic'd up or whatever, so that they'd be able to feed answers in, so you get all these numbers out. But Trump, was able to still pull this off, no teleprompter, right? Actually, Trump gave a speech today. I have that also lined up today. And he did not use a teleprompter. He actually just kind of I feel sorry for my teleprompter guy. I'm only on line 2, according to him, and he's already, an hour into the speech. He says, hey, do you want me to use a teleprompter? Or you want me to just go wing it like this? And everyone said, yeah, wing it. So we got a little bit of that. And the reason why I'm bringing that is he brings up the number 17, and he also says we're fighting the enemy. I got a little clip of that. So we'll cover that. But anyway, so let's talk about what may also have been going on with Biden. Let's dig in a little bit into that. I have to pull up something here. This is from a Twitter thread. See that wire sticking out there? Just on the left, on that left side, or on the left side of the screen, or just below his hand. Just watch as this comes down. See the wire sticking out? So it shows he had a wire on. Let's watch it again. There it is. See that? There's a wire hanging out there. All right, so he was wired. We got a wire there. So let's look at. Is it this one? Hang on a second. All right, it does go real slow. And I got too much running on this system. I hope
it was still legal in parts of the country. And according to Derek Bell,
sorry, I knew that I was going to try and stop that from happening, but that didn't work. All right. Okay, let me pull this up. Where did it go? That's the problem. I think I closed it. Oh, it must have been someplace else. Okay, here, there we go. I have this also on the, as part of the 17 NES updates. So this is Joe Biden's ear, right? Without anything in it. And this one over here is Joe Biden's ear with something in it. So you can see this is what it was like, seeing this. Now, this is just showing that this is a possibility of what is happening. Now, this is coming from a post. This is from the 29th, talking about what happened in the past with Joe Biden's ear. Okay, and so it's like debates. Biden camp will find excuses and reasons to terminate Biden Camp will be provided questions ahead of time. Biden Camp will be provided questions ahead of time and assist in the form of special communications device. Okay. It's interesting. Special communications device. What kind of special device? So here, this is an article. Go back to the top here. This is from League of Power. Here's how Joe Biden is cheating, and it's not a teleprompter. So it's really talking about a device that is a medical device for hearing. So I just highlighted this section. It's called the Esteem Hearing Implant, which you can learn about here. It's an implant that goes into the skull and above the ear and has 2 micro wire probes that are injected into the nerves inside the ear canal. The FDA approved it and uses bone conduction to enhance hearing. Sound waves vibrate off the bones of the skull, and wire probes that send signals directly into the ear. Basically, it's a wireless and controlled by the push of a button, so the user can turn it on or off with a little device that fits in your pocket. And that's how, and basically they go on and they say that that's how Biden, has been going out and addressing people. You'll see he reaches in his pocket, right, and then he kind of stops for a moment. Right, looks down. Because if you're looking at something else, and someone's talking to someone, and then someone's whispering in your ear, which one are you going to listen to? Right. So he looks down, looks away, breaks eye contact, and then comes back and continues the conversation. So we can see that there is something that's going on with that, and that's why there is something. Now, in that one post we were looking at, it was talking about how Biden doesn't want to continue, right? He doesn't want to continue with it because this information is now making it out there. So on this tweet here, it's talking about the wire on this side. We've got this device over here, in his sleeve, and then you've got this right here that's talking about this device that goes down to your hand and goes into your ear with little wires, and it's got a transmitter and all this kind of stuff. All right. So let's. Okay, we've covered Biden. We know that he's using some kind of devices, and he's basically in a position where if he basically tries to get out of any of this, he's going of these debates. He looks as though he's afraid of debate Trump. So what was this particular one designed to do? It's designed for them to end the debates. Okay, he had one debate. He made it through, right? It was okay. I said yesterday, he was able not to basically, fall down on stage, right? He was able to, hold up. But Trump had a lot of different things that he was able to achieve, making the best of all, and the most important was saying you lost the left, right? There's some other good things he put in there. I've been here 47 months. You've been here 47 years. Those kind of things. So he got a lot of good points in it. Does there need to be another debate with Biden? No, it doesn't need to, right? Trump doesn't need to have him, fall down on stage, as I said. We'll have the Harris and Pence debate. That will happen. But they're already jumping, all of the mainstream media is jumping on and saying, we don't need another debate. This was ridiculous. Let's hold the office into a higher standard because obviously, Trump is a bully and we shouldn't put Biden in that position. That's their take. But that's all in unison, right? They're all talking in unison about it. So there's nothing there that is worth us carrying on about. Okay, so let me bring this around to something else. Okay, we're heading into this election time, and there is a plan that we covered before about the color revolution. You know, they want to call this the purple revolution. This is what, you know, Soros was planning. There's a handbook. The people that wrote the handbook, literally a handbook on color revolutions. The author of the book, literally a book written, the handbook for color revolutions. That guy is in charge of actually rolling out this Black Lives Matter, Antifa, this whole thing that we're seeing. Same guy. Money coming from Soros. I have queued up a video from The Blaze, Glenn Beck. About 4 minutes out of a 48-minute video, which I highly encourage you to watch, that lays out what we're going to see. And it's basically about how the Civil War starts. It's something we're going to go through. Right? It's like these steps are in place. The cabal, the deep state, they can only execute their plan. They can't do anything else. They can't change on the fly and do things. No, they keep doing their plan. Their plan is unfolding, and they're going to make a go of it. Even if they're, you know, not where they want to be and they're losing support, and all, doesn't matter. They're not going to give up. So we're going to go through this because Glenn Beck has laid it out so brilliantly, right? And has really laid out what's in this handbook. And he's actually talking about a document written by Obama's White House that lays out how to handle this based upon the Tea Party being successful. He said the Tea Party was successful. We have this, that's why we have Trump. This is how we have to stop it. And it's laid out. Their plans are laid out. There's a physical document, and this is the plans and where it's laid out. And that document is on his website, the Blaze TV. But I encourage you to watch the whole thing. We're only going to look at about 4 minutes of it, of him laying out something on a chalkboard. And then we can discuss that.
And it will show you exactly what's coming. Let me take you where we were in the last episode. To destroy America, the free market, the Western way of life, what you need to do is have a bottom-up, top-down kind of revolution. A color revolution is what the State Department and the CIA calls it. This is what I call Red November, because it's going to be red with either fires, red with communists, or Donald Trump is going to sweep, and it will be red that way. But what they've done, and we took you through it, these 7 steps. The first one is you have to have a semi-autocratic. You have to be able to say, that guy's Hitler. We have that. Then you have to have an unpopular leader, the most unpopular of all time. Then you have to have the media prepare for election fraud. Did you notice what happened in the debate? During the debate, will you accept these results? Hillary Clinton herself said, we're not going to give up, and I will show you in their own documents what they have planned. Then we start here. I'm going to show you the future. This is happening now. I've shown you the past on where it all came from, but let me show you the future. On election night, you're going to hear things like, this election isn't over, this is a long way to go, we can't declare a winner. That is planned, and I'll show you the documents. That's something new in America. I'd like to just point out, remember, I actually think we can't remember anything from 4 years ago. Then they have the indie media. Already they're working, softening you up, saying, there's going to be election fraud, there's going to be all kinds of problems. Then the independent media, along with social media and the mainstream media, will begin to say there's something wrong. There's integrity, problem with the integrity. We should call in the National Guard. I'll show you these steps tonight. They're going to seem spontaneous unless you read these documents and share them with your friends. Then You have the spontaneous uprisings, just like in Egypt. Then you get to this point, where you have to split the government and the military. And I'm going to show you tonight how they're doing it with the National Guard. The Democrats have already spoken about calling in the National Guard at this point. It's all in their plan. Democrats will call out the National Guard to stop Donald Trump. Then you have the riots right here, because anarchy is ruling. And the riots are right here. So at the seat of power, somebody's got to come down. If it's Donald Trump, that just proves he's a totalitarian dictator. But if it's not, who could possibly come down? The benevolent other side, the deep state that has everybody in place. They're autocrats. The nation runs by itself now. We don't really need a president. The Great Reset will come. Agenda 2030, power and money. That's all they care about. They don't even care about the people that they say they are supporting and shoving money up to all these people. They don't care. These people are worthless to them. They're expendable. They just want the money and power, and they will come down and kill them. Because that's what happens in revolutions. All you have to do is read a history book. That sounds crazy. Sounds like treason. Please, I want you to listen with an open mind for your friends. What I'm showing you is planned out in advance. I've been laying this out over the last 2 weeks. Members of the Obama administration, the State Department, they wrote the playbook for color revolution in the streets. We've seen it play out over the last 3 years in our own country, and it actually culminates the week of the election. I pray to God that we do not get what we deserve. I pray to God we have another chance and none of this happens. But there is no getting around the fact that multiple scenarios have already been game planned for election night. There is no compromise here. It's either they get into office or they destroy us. Pillars 1 through 4, all set up. Tonight, I'm going to show you what they have planned for the future.
Okay. Again, I encourage you to go look at that video on the Blaze TV, on YouTube, of course, and look, because he's right. This is planned. They don't care how many people die when this all goes down. So all of those, what the communists like to call them, is useful idiots. That is their term for all of these people that riot in the street, that do their bidding unknowingly. Oh, we're doing it for for the black pride, whatever the slogan. It makes no difference. They want to create the scenario for the rioting. And they showed you all those steps that need. You have to have a leader that's not popular. And so that whole group of people are very dead set against Trump, right? You can't reason with them, can't convince them otherwise. It's like they're programmed to, Trump bad, orange man bad, orange man bad, orange man bad. Can't do anything about that. But they will carry those picket signs right up into where all of the catastrophes are going on, right? And the military is used, the National Guard is used, and when that happens, then they make their claim. Oh, see, this is where they make the move, and they will try to remove Trump. That's why they're telling you ahead of time. Right? Oh, he's going to refuse to leave, but we'll have to extract him. What does Nancy Pelosi say? Well, we'll have to carry him out, screaming. So she's laying this out from their point of view, right? And so that people on their side see what was going on. Oh, see, we were told they're going to remove him. That's why we'll riot. let alone they end up dead, right? And the more that die, the better, right? From their standpoint, right? Because the bigger uproar, the orange man is really bad. So their talking points can go on. So is there another plan to outmaneuver this? I hope so. I pray so. There is something. There is definitely something that is going on. Right? There is a lot, at play. I don't know. Does it? Is there a way to mute this? Well, Glenn Beck said it. Landslide for Trump. Landslide for Trump would basically make all of their stories make no sense, right? But this is a created civil war by creating narratives to get people agitated, to get them to do things. The poor young people that were put through our educational system to create people that hate the country and hate themselves and hate their lives. And who's the ones out there? The young white people for Black Lives Matter, saying how bad white people are. Self-hatred. In the country that has done the most for eliminating slavery and doing most and bringing freedom to the world. Why would this country be the bad country? Because they were told lies. They were taught in the schools, and everyone allowed this to happen, right? Because it was so slow and gradual, and it was easier to go along to get along, and we didn't stand up and fight as much as we should have. So we're in it. There's nothing we can do to just say, okay, well, everyone, just stop, right? Don't do that. We're not going to do the right. Everyone, there's going to be turmoil. We can make it a lot less by turning out and voting in mass numbers. Commit to bring 5 people to the polling place that normally don't go. Just commit to doing it. Call your friends. Say, listen, let's all go to a poll together. We'll go out and have a drink afterward. We have to take action, and this is the time. I always ask you to take small actions and help share this video. Share the video, please. It is helping the numbers get out there. It is. Give a like, thumbs up, right? Give the like, thumbs up. Positive comments. Please leave positive comments. I am actually, trying to respond to them if it seems like they're in need of a response on the comment section. So, we can deal with that. All right, let's go to a few more things I'd like to go over. So let's move on. Close this down for Glenn. Glenn Beck was talking about this top-down, bottom-up plan where he said this is like, I don't know, 7 years ago, where the Muslims, the communists, and the anarchists would all combine, right, to create a revolution. He said it back that long ago, and then that's when he had to leave Fox. All right, so let's go over this. Now, I went over yesterday this document that about the adrenochrome and the children as inmates. And I actually found that there was a second part to that document. There was a part 2, and I actually now have that document. I posted it into the Telegram group. That's the information down below for the WWG1WGA.love Telegram group. It's there. You can download it. It's parts 1 and 2, but it's also on this site. Now, we're not going to go in deep about this, but this is an interesting thing. This is Found in Him, is the site. And it basically goes through a lot of the same information, but kind of like digs down into different parts of it. And again, I'm not going to go through that whole thing, but I just wanted to point out. So this is like the start of the document, right, that we were looking at yesterday. Again, 30 pages. I also reduced the size, so that it was easier. And then there was more. These were like the receipts and things like that. Almost $2,000 a milligram. $1,920 per milligram. But this part was added on, digging into the peoples that are actually looked here as the harvesters, the individual people that are harvesting. Talk about blackmail material, right? If you were on this list of being one of the people that harvest the adrenochrome, you're blackmailed forever, right? So these people are now, busted, because this information is out. This is very hard information because people can say, well, how can they call them inmates? I've saw that comment a couple times. Children as inmates. Well, it's from their point of view, right? They're prisoners. They're keeping them in cages, right? They're inmates, right? They're any sort of prison. What do you call prisoners? You call them inmates. That's just a name. Right? So okay. So anyway, you got the idea. I just want to go over. Now, the particular company that we're referring to here, the CM, was it CMY? Was it? Or CYM? Go back up here. Oh, CYM. So I did a little looking up at it, and it turns out now this is actually referring to. There's also a Duns number here, so Duns and Bradstreet number is on there. I try to look it up from there, and look at like where they might be located and things of that. So if you look here, Factor Therapies Europe Ltd, previous name, Tissue Therapies Europe Ltd. So this is like they're talking about this. Who this is to this particular company. But what about CMY? So they are actually located at BioHub in Alderley Park in the UK. This is their location. Zoom all the way out. You'll see Liverpool ends up being up here on the left-hand side. There's Liverpool on the left-hand side. So now you got it like relatively where they're located. Now again, they also had addresses in New York, right? So, but this interesting facility is kind of remote. A lot of land around them. They're in a remote location, and they've got a lot of production facilities here. Right? There's a lot of infrastructure in the middle of nowhere. BioHub. So maybe there's a bunch of different companies here, but if we can see if when we've done investigations and see any of these other particular things related to, like, well, there's a FedEx and a neurobiology lab and a psychiatrist, all gathered together in one little area. So, all right, let's move back over to our 17 NES posts that we were looking at here. It's a little smaller. See where we left left off here. Okay, somewhere in here. So yeah, we're starting to get into this area. So we already talked about this with the Biden earpiece, so we'll skip that for right now. We'll go to this one. So it's 4788. All right, so this is House Resolution 1154 condemning 17NES and rejecting the conspiracy theories it promotes. So, and then what's below this is Tom Olaski's lobby to protect sexual predators. That headline is not a mistake. While he was a highly paid DSC lobbyist, Tom Olaski worked to ensure sex offenders who violated children would not have to join the National Sex Offender Registry and push the sexual predators to receive more lenient sentences. All right. Those who scream the loudest. So basically, it's the same person that Tom Olaski is the one that's sponsoring this, right? So they're afraid of 17NES. And let's go up to this one, 4789. We've got Hillary doing her own podcast. Podcast yesterday, intentional or careless? It's a good question. But they have she's pointing out a book here that's basically demonic, right? She just happens to have sitting there. Did she know it was there? Did she forget? She just, it's just part of her everyday life, these things, right? So it's just in the background. She didn't do any cleanup of this. So let's zoom in and take a look. Lucio Bacaraca erotics. So got like a demoness here, some sort of sword swallowing of some sort. I can't quite tell. Well, let me see if I can zoom in here a little closer. Lucio Bacaco's work in glass are unparalleled examples of an extraordinary Vitian flame technique, a witty play with borders of kisks and biblical and carnivalesque iconography. Masterful glass art from Murano. Most of the subjects of the Lucaro Baracos in 1957 glass art were provocative and polarizing. At the same time, they were sensual and belliquing and kind of erotic trance dance. Metastopheling and frequency roderus. It's hard even for me to read this. Nightmarish, fabulous creatures and mythological phantasms virtually undulate about the other. His technical veracity. So anyway, I was talking about all of his work, and there's more of his pieces down here at the bottom. So yeah, it looks pretty demonic kind of stuff. But that's what's listed here. All right, go back. What's next here? Okay, next we have God woke you up for a reason. That's cute. Our 17NES post of 4790. God woke you up for a reason. A beautiful photo there. Okay, and now we've got a Twitter thread here for 4791. See where that takes us. So talk about the DNI Radcliffe's probably this information. So DNI info to Graham. In late July 2016, U.S. intelligence agents obtained insight into Russian intelligence analysts alleging the U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton had approved campaign plan to stir up scandal against U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump. Number 2, DNI info to Graham. By tying him to Putin and the Russians hacking of the DNC committee, the IC does not know the accuracy of this allegation or extent to which the Russian intelligence analysis may reflect aggregation or fabrication. Okay, so we've kind of went over this yesterday. So we're talking about all of this stuff that's coming out about the FBI director that's probably coming up about in that meeting. So over here, number 5 here, on the 7th of September 2016, U.S. intelligence officials forward investigation referral to FBI Director James Comey. So let's talk about that. Well, I actually, I think I have a video that I can bring up about this as well. So let me. I didn't actually have that one quite ready. That's right here. Let me add this one in. So let's go over to here. Now I've got another one I'm going to bring up here. This is Ted Cruz in a committee meeting today talking about James Comey.
Mr. Chairman, returning to Mr. Comey. Mr. Comey, you testified earlier today that you have concerns whenever the FBI doesn't operate in a, quote, competent and honest way. In your judgment, was the way that the FBI handled the Russia investigation, the surveillance of the Trump campaign, the Carter Page FISA application, the Michael Flynn investigation, was that handled in a competent and honest way?
For Senator Cruz, there was no, to my knowledge, surveillance of the Trump campaign. I think the overall investigation of the Russian interference and whether Americans were associated with it was conducted in an honest, competent, independent way.
He's still denying it.
So, Mr. Comey, you're saying it's competent and honest. I assume you read the Horowitz Inspector General report, which found 17 significant errors or omissions in the Carter Page FISA application. So, in your view, 17 mistakes lying to the court is competent and honest?
Well, I've read the report. I don't believe he concluded there were lies to the court, but there are significant and important failings in the way in which the Carter Page FISA was prepared and renewed.
All right, Mr. Comey, let's go directly to lies. The Inspector General report concluded that Mr. Klein-Smith, an attorney who worked for you in the FBI, deliberately altered an email. He had emailed the CIA to ask if Carter Page was a source. The CIA came back and said, yes, he was a source. And Mr. Klein-Smith, your lawyer, altered that email to add the words, not a source, to make the email say precisely the opposite of what the CIA said, and that fraudulent document was then used as a basis for a fraudulent submission to the FISA court. You believe that is honest and competent, Mr. Comey?
I don't believe you've offered an accurate summary of the Horowitz's findings.
Mr. Comey, I have the report right in front of me. Page 254 describes how the lawyer, specifically the words, and not a source, had been inserted in the response, directly reversing what the CIA says. Was it practice in your FBI to fraudulently alter evidence that you submit to federal courts?
It was not the practice in the FBI to fraudulently alter anything that's presented to federal courts.
say that an investigation that featured fraudulent evidence is competent and honest. But let's move on to something else.
Bam.
The predicate of much of this investigation was the STEELE dossier, which has now been totally discredited as garbage. When did you learn that the STEELE dossier was being funded by the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Again, I believe your predicate is inaccurate. But I first learned of the STEELE dossier in late September of 2016 and understood that it was funded by political opposition to President Trump.
So just stop me for a moment. So it's hard to take Comey. Yes, he keeps saying the same thing. Well, I don't agree with your predicate. Meaning he says, I don't like the reality that you're seeing. He doesn't want to admit to any of it, right? And he's still holding off. And even though it's like, right, here's the evidence, he still denies it. This is part of who they are. They will not say, okay, you got me. It won't do it. Don't look for that. You have to look at what the evidence is and realize that when they do this, and now this happened today, right? This is major, right? Goes along with the information released yesterday. What are everyone talking about? Biden and the back and forth they had, and Trump was a bully and all. But this is important. Here, we only got a little bit more here. We'll go through it.
Candidate Trump, I didn't know the specifics of which part of the opposition, but I knew that it was political opposition research fund.
When did you learn that?
I think about the time I was briefed on it, so about the same time, probably third week of September.
So you were personally aware that the political opposition, whether the DNC or Hillary Clinton or whatever campaign bucket it was coming from, it was the opposing party that was funding it. You were specifically aware of it in September. Why didn't you tell the FISA court? Why did you admit that over and over and over again on applications you submitted? Didn't the court deserve to know that?
My recollection is the FISA court was alerted to the possibility that it was a politically biased reporting.
Your recollection is false. The FISA court was not told that it was funded by the DNC. That's one of the omissions that your FBI did repeatedly to the federal court. All right, another. Go ahead.
That's not what I just said. So,
what did you just say?
I said my recollection is the court was alerted that there was potential political bias in this reporting.
Again,
political bias is.
He says, I don't like your reality. I don't like the facts. I prefer to stick with my story. That's what he's saying. So, that's not what I said. I said my recollection. All right, I'll continue here.
From saying it was funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign. You just testified to this committee you were specifically aware of that, and yet you repeatedly did not inform the court of it when you were getting an order to essentially weaponize the Democratic opposition research. All right, next question. When did you learn that the primary subsource, so the basis for this garbage STEELE dossier, was a suspected Russian asset?
I don't remember ever being informed of any
I didn't know he was a Russian asset.
Any of STEELE's sources, including the primary subsource.
So you're not aware of it today?
I'm aware of it today because I've read it in the public sphere, and I've read a summary memo that the Department of Justice sent to the Judiciary Committee.
Oh, he was a Russian
spy? The primary subsource was subject to FBI investigation, a counterintelligence investigation from 2009 to 2011. And I will read some of what the investigation was. The primary subsource approached two individuals who were about to enter the Obama administration and indicated that if, quote, the two individuals at the table did get a job in the government and had access to classified information and wanted to make a little extra money, the primary subsource knew some people to whom they could speak. He's trying to recruit spies against the U.S. government. You have a Russian agent that is the basis for an FBI investigation. And the FBI is the one who had investigated them. Your testimony is you didn't know. Did it occur to you to ask? Did you ask any questions or do any due diligence on this at all?
I don't remember anything about the facts that have been revealed recently about the subsource. And as I said earlier, I think that cuts both ways, but I don't know how the people running the investigation thought about it.
Well, you didn't tell the FISA court that either, and I suspect the FISA assessment if you had told them that the basis for your application was what you were being told from a suspected Russian asset. All right, let's shift to another topic. On May 3rd, 2017, in this committee, Chairman Grassley asked you point blank, quote, "Have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?" You responded under oath, quote, "Never." He then asked you, quote, "Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton administration?" You responded again under oath, "No." Now, as you know, Mr. McCabe, who works for you, has publicly and repeatedly stated that he leaked information to the Wall Street Journal and that you were directly aware of it and that you directly authorized it. Now, what Mr. McCabe is saying and what you testified to this committee cannot both be true. One or the other is false. Who's telling the truth?
I can only speak to my testimony. I stand by what the testimony you summarized that I gave in May of 2017.
So
I like my reality. Just don't listen to any of the other facts or anything out there. Just I go with my reality, what my testimony was.
Testimony is you've never authorized anyone to leak. And Mr. McCabe, if he says contrary, is not telling the truth. Is that correct?
Again, I'm not going to characterize Andy's testimony, but mine is the same today.
All right, I'm going to make a final point because my time has expired. This investigation of the president was corrupt. The FBI and the Department of Justice were politicized and weaponized. And in my opinion, there are only two possibilities. That you were deliberately corrupt or woefully incompetent. And I don't believe you were incompetent. This has done severe damage to the professionals and the honorable men and women at the FBI because law enforcement should not be used as a political weapon. And that is the legacy you've left.
So you can see they're not going to change their tune. Dead to rights have Comey on all these lies and misrepresentations, right? All these things that he did, and he basically did under oath and said, and then comes well, no, I go with whatever I said back then. You know, doesn't matter what facts you bring up. I'm just sticking to my story. Doesn't matter what the facts are. I've said what I said, and it's what it is. I like my reality. So you can see they're not going to give up. Right? They never will. No matter how dead to rights you have them, and you can have all the evidence stacked. They'll just say, nope, that's not it. That's not it. You can say they're delusional. You can say it's their training. Whatever you want to look at, they're not going to shift their gears. Let's go back to where we left off here. All right, so I think we kind of went over this letter yesterday. I believe this is the one, but anyway, let's take a look. Is that this one? Oh yeah, we did this. So that's this. What's that one? D&I Radcliffe. So this one here is the. I think this is the letter to Graham. Yeah, this is to Lindsey Graham. This way, Lindsey Graham knows. So we covered this yesterday. It was these two comments. You got the 3 bullet points. It's the second and third one. We kind of went over this yesterday. Basically, just outlining that it was Hillary Clinton setting up a plan. This was a plan. This is a stated plan of Hillary Clinton's campaign to create the controversy of Russian collusion on Trump to cover her email problem, her email scandal. That's what it is. All right, so let's go up here. So 4793, we just have this image here. This is looks like someone having a conversation, but the highlighted portion here is, who is in charge of the Trump Swift boat project? Needs to be ready, funded, and unleashed when we decide, but not a half-assed scramble. So basically, we're talking about someone named Joel Johnson. having this conversation basically about the Swift boat. What is Swift boating? Swift boating was John Kerry when he was running for president. If you remember back way when the people in his Swift boat company all came out against him. Right, his military buddies, right, that he served with on these Swift boats in Vietnam, came out against him and basically just torpedoed him in a way, or depth charged him. I think is what the Swift boats have, is they have depth charges to go after U-boats or submarines. So they have something ready to go to go after Trump, right? That was their tactic. So more evidence, and this was from February of 2016. So that's already into Trump's election. And he's already president, and they're talking about Swift boating him. That is treason. Okay, next is 4794. The Federalist has basically a. We'll go ahead. We'll click on that. Here. I'm just closing down some of these to save some memory. Okay, that's this link. So CIA Director Gina Haspel is blocking declassification of remaining Russiagate documents. This is from September 30th, so this is now. So CIA Director Gina Haspel has personally blocking the declassification of documents detailing corruption at the highest levels of the intelligence community during the 2016 election, according to the Federalist founder, Sean Davis. While a new information about wrongdoing, the FBI has recently been declassified, including recent revelations about Hillary Clinton's campaign collusion with Russia. Davis reported on Tucker Carlson tonight, Wednesday, that Haspel herself is standing in the way of declassification of the other relevant documents. So that just means her being called out right now on this just means it's going to be coming out soon. It's just, again, highlighting the people standing in the way. So let's keep going here. Okay, some believe the protection of agency is what matters most. So she's trying to protect the agency, right? Because that's what matters most. Some believe declassification, public exposure of truth, and rebuilding of the agency is what matters the most. Apply the same to the FBI. Apply the same to the state. So they all have groups within them. The split. It's a split government. Which, again, going back to what Glenn Beck was saying, you've got the people that are going to be causing a civil war. What is a civil war? It's a split within the civilization, a split within the government, a split within the people. Okay, so any attempt to buck the system, no matter severity of crime, they will fight back. Self-preservation. Shadow game. Prevent public exposure of truth. Why? People united have the power to secure these. So this is basically from our from the Constitution, maybe I think that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government by way of assemblies. I just added that. Laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them to shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that the governments along established should not be charged for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable. That means until they're not sufferable anymore. then to the right themselves by abolishing the forms of which they are accustomed. So we're accustomed to the current government, right? And it's very difficult for us to basically stand up and throw it off until it becomes unsufferable. Okay, but when long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing inevitably to the same object evidences a design to reduce them under absolute despotism. So basically, by them creating absolute despotism for us, right? That's what they're doing. They're removing all of our money, right? So aren't the founding fathers brilliant to say, hey, this is going to happen to you. Power is going to gather in the government. They're going to get abusive. They're going to steal everything from you. And then you have the right to stand up against them. All right, that's what they're saying here. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Yeah, we need new guards. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph, the more glorious the trump. Sorry to throw that one in. All right, so let's just stop there for a moment, as this is the most important piece of what's going on here. Is we have to throw off this government that is it's a rogue government, right? It's a behemoth. It's insane. It's doing it. Look at what they're doing. Everything is insane. Right? Everything and anything that's part of what we call the deep state, right? That also includes absorb the Democrat Party and part of the Republican Party. But it's like 99.99% of the Democrats, right? And about, be generous, 50% of the Republican, right? Have all part of the deep state. Again, that's generous, saying 50%. It could be 80% of the Republicans are that bad. But it is our right to throw that off. But this time, it's not just about our country. It's about the people of the world. Worldwide, this is happening. We are standing up as the people of the world. Yes, others will stand up slower, but who's leading the way is America. We've been leading the way since we developed this form of government from our founding documents that recognized, as I said, that eventually it's going to become tyrannical. It's just the nature of the beast, and the beast being government, bureaucracy, non-feeling government, like computers, like the AI, unfeeling, just moving forward with their agenda. Right? And all driven by the greed of more power and money. We have to recognize that this is underway. And they also know that the Great Reset is underway. Remember, even Glenn Beck spoke about it. It was on his chalkboard in the corner. He said, and the reset, they're all waiting for the reset, the global currency reset. Now it's the Great Reset. It's in the World Economic Forum's documentation for their planned meeting in January to use the pandemic to create a new financial system. It's already, they're moving forward with it. Their plans won't stop. But their plans rely on us not doing anything, just going along for the ride. That's why our country and our foundation and its foundation documents and the founding fathers and our history and everything that we've been able to derive from those documents and how we've evolved into being creative reality weavers, that they can't stand. They can't be that way. They don't know how. They are separated by their own design from us. So we have to take our action and take it now. Do what we can. Let me go back. We're gonna finish this up. Okay. Twitter marathon end. So this is 47.95. It's about time. It's about time that something happens. That it's enough. We've got plenty of information on these crooks. Bunch of crooks. Okay, let's see where this goes. Oh, reload. Hello.
Did you go for a coup? I don't remember. I'll tell you, we caught him cold. It's about time that something happens, okay? It's about time.
It's about time
something happens.
happens.
It's enough. We got plenty of information on these crooks. Bunch of crooks. Thing like that's never happened in the history of our country, and it's about time that something happens. Did you go for a...
Yep, I got part of that speech also lined up to go over. Okay, so this is the last one for today, 47.96. Anonymous is commenting on this, and this, and this, and this, and then there's a response here down here. Eyes on, follow the family. So let's see, what are they talking about? Following what family? What's this first one here? So this is Robert W. I say Lieberger. Dear Judge, we write respectfully to inform the court that I will be leaving the United States Attorney's Office accordingly. So who's doing this? Who's leaving? Andrew Krause, Assistant U.S. Attorney. Audrey Krause, Acting U.S. Attorney by Andrew. So this person is leaving. Okay. Not going to be, so vacating, getting out early perhaps before it's too late. Hold up. U.S. Attorney of Southern District, New York steps down and Lucas Isaacoff steps in. This is Comey's son-in-law, married to Maureen, daughter of Maureen Comey. Okay, so this is tying into Comey here. So married to Lucas Isaacoff. So basically there's a connection between Comey and Isaacoff. Okay, so follow the family. Blow this one up. Hard to read that one. Okay, I'll drop it. All right. So I'm going to say deep state alert. James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey's husband, is taking over for Aubrey Strauss, U.S. Attorney for Southern District, who's indicted Janelle Maxwell. So Giselle Maxwell is in the Southern District of New York, and that's where the indictment was, and that's where it seems like all this is centered around this Southern District, New York. I guess that's New York City District, right? And now this woman is stepping down, and James Comey's daughter is stepping in. Something odd about that. All right. Let me go over. Let's see, we got 34 viewers. Hello, everybody. Got one there, so Gail saying hi. Oh, the chat room's kind of quiet today. All right. Let me flip this this back around. We'll start closing up here. We're an hour and 20 minutes in. They're getting long. Sorry about that. There's just so much to cover. I don't know how to just do a little here, because there's so much going on. It's going to be rough. It is. These next was it 40 some days before the election? We're going to have a lot of stuff flying at us, and we're going to have to basically, keep our head down, avoid being knocked off, right? And still get the information out. Information warfare. We're doing what we can. We have to spread the word. So you share this link. Help out Life Force. They need some help right now. Small donations. There's fine. Anything that you can do. Again, that link is down below. It says Life Force. Their PayPal email address is there. And then you can also do what you can to spread the information. I know it doesn't seem like it's doing a lot, but it does. That's how the social media functions, right? To get the word out. Share this video. Go down to the share down below. Click on share. It's in right where above the description. It'll pop up with their Facebook or Twitter, and you can just click, and off it goes. And if you go there and on your own Facebook page where you posted that, in the comment below say, please share this, make it go viral. Please subscribe. We're all in this together. Where we go one, we go all. .love. Okay. Well, with that being said, it's been a lot of information today. Let me let you go. A lot of people need to go to bed too, probably 1 a.m. for people on the East Coast. Until tomorrow, we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye for now.